Welcome to the Official Cooked podcast with your host, DJ Zeus in the building. I got my boy,
Dible
Lindo next door.
and a special guest,
Special guest.
Very special.
not influencer.
Yes, sir.
What's up, guys? My name is Matthew Hall, owner of Not an Influencer. It's a pleasure to be here.
Man, it's a pleasure to have you over here, man. We're excited for this episode.
Yeah, sorry it took so long. I've been in and out of the city for a minute, but I'm glad to be here.
Nah, facts, especially what's going on in Tampa.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Yeah, shout out to all the people in Tampa.
big
So,
shout out.
yeah.
Big shout out.
Were you out there during all that?
So, bro, I was here for right before Helene. My brother and I came up here for a day because I had a bunch of shirts up here that I had to get sent into production. And so we came up here to get the shirts, and then we drove back down to Tampa because that's where my production facility is. And the next day, everyone's like, or the news is like, hurricane's coming to Tallahassee,
Which is wild.
which is crazy.
Crazy work.
Crazy.
was.
And then we stayed in Tampa for a couple weeks, and then we got other news of Milton coming, and so we're like, fuck.
You guys are just going back and
Literally,
back.
just like back and forth, running from
Ducking and
storm,
dodging.
bro. It was crazy.
The
The last 2
weather
weeks
has
were
been
crazy.
kind of mild, and then hurricane.
Yeah, hurricane. Yeah,
And
no.
supposedly there's going to be another hurricane soon.
Facts.
So like
Yeah.
Florida's just getting like
Yeah, we're getting cooked right now. No
Down.
pun intended.
Big cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Helene sent her big brother or something like that.
Literally.
Like, I ain't doing enough damage. I'm finna get the boys.
Right. Crazy.
So, is Tampa where you from, right?
Yeah, I'm from South Tampa.
That's
Yeah.
lit, man. Like, what part? Like, I got a girl that I'm talking to right now. She lives in Riverview.
Yeah.
So like, is that like near?
Hey, shout out to the girl.
yep, shut up.
Big shout out to my girl though.
So Riverview is gonna be on like the east side of like where I'm at.
Okay, facts.
So I'm like in basically like the southernmost point of Tampa. So if you haven't taken her, you should take her like to Bayshore.
No, we went
And,
to
like, over
we went
there.
to like the city of Tampa.
Yeah. So like
that's cool.
wherever Bayshore ends is kind of like where my grandma's house is.
Oh, that's
if you
cool.
can like put that into perspective.
So like, did you like grow up there, right?
I grew up in Tampa. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you went to high school there, correct?
Went to high school in Tampa, and then I came up here to go to FSU.
Facts.
And then I just
okay.
stayed in Tally since I graduated.
What major did you graduate in?
Sport management.
Sportsman.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's the
that
unexpected.
threw me
Wow.
off.
Yeah.
I
ain't
did not
gonna
expect that. I
lie.
expected
Yeah,
like some
yeah.
sort of
Whoa.
art.
Nah.
Something.
So
what you plan on doing with that, like the sports?
So when I first came to school, like I played basketball my whole life, and I've always been around athletes my whole life, so I knew like how to speak to athletes. So when I was in school, I actually worked for FSU's recruiting department, and so I got my degree in sport management, thinking that I wanted to go be like an agent, like a sports agent,
Okay.
which is still cool, and like it's still like something that maybe I will. I don't know if like it's ever gonna be like something that I actually do, but the summer before my senior year, I actually studied abroad in London for the sports management program.
Oh.
And that's kind of like, I've always been into like clothing. I was voted best dressed my senior year in high school. Like I've always been into sneakers. Like I've always been like in that world. But I studied abroad in London, and that's really what like opened up my eyes to like what the potential of like just like dressing freely meant, or like dressing to like express your own emotions through like what you wear and how important that is. That's like when it really like opened my eyes. So from there, I knew I was going to graduate, but I knew I didn't really want to do sports anymore, because I was just kind of like, I knew that to get into that world, you just really needed to know somebody to get you to
Yeah. To the
where
point that
like
you
to the point
actually-
where like it made sense financially, or it made sense like career wise. And like, not that I didn't know that person, but I just like, my passion really wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
And so long story short, when I graduated from FSU, I didn't really have like something to go pursue right when I finished. And then that's when I started buying and selling clothes like regularly. Like I was buying and selling like vintage clothing. Like this was before vintage really like blew up. So I was going to every thrift store here in town. Like I was literally like driving my car every day, like on 8-hour like routes here in town to like find whatever I could when it came to like the thrifting world. And then I was like buying it and reselling it on my Instagram. And that's kind of like how I got my first like wave of people that started like following me on my Instagram. And then from there, it just domino effect.
That's cool, man. That is
That's
fire.
Yeah,
Because
but-
like, how did we meet, man? Do you know?
It had to have been at the store when I worked at
Picked?
Picked. Yeah.
Worked at
Yeah.
Picked? Okay.
Yeah, so I used to work at.
Store?
So
No.
that's the vintage store here on Madison. here in College Town. Yeah,
Amazing,
so
by the way.
yeah,
That store's awesome.
yeah. So I was there to help them like start the store, and then I stopped working there back in November. But I was there for a good 2.5 years as the store was like developing through like
And
the
now they're
first
doing better
2.5
service.
years.
That's like the spot.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the spot in town.
Yeah,
bro.
always, yeah.
Shout
yeah.
out to Pick though.
Yeah,
man.
for sure, yeah.
Man,
So,
that's a lit store, man.
Yeah.
I always get really good vibes there.
Yeah.
The owner knows me, which is pretty cool.
yeah, for sure. I think you bought a pair of shoes in there once, or like you definitely came in there and bought some tees before.
I bought some tees.
Yeah.
Shoes. I'm gonna be real.
Or you came in there and bought some dros in there, 100%.
I bought some 100%
100%,
dros. 100% dros.
So you sell not an influencer at Picks too, or
No.
Oh.
Everything I do with non-influencer is all online.
Oh, okay.
Unless I'm
Fire.
doing a pop-up. So like
Have you
that's
done any
where
pop-ups?
yeah, so Dro and I have done a bunch of pop-ups in Atlanta. So like Atlanta Streetwear Market's a big one for us. Unfazed exhibit is another like smaller one in Atlanta, but that's kind of like where we started. Another one we've done is called OTS. It's called On the Scene Atlanta. But all these are like really big, like that's like what people do in Atlanta, bro. They're always looking for like small brands to support, or just like they want the newest clothes like all the time. So we've been able to like engulf ourselves into that world. And then we have, we actually have another pop up coming in Atlanta in November. So we're kind of like preparing for that now.
Oh,
That's fire.
So yeah.
That is fire.
So
bro.
what like made you come up with that name? Like not
What,
an
not
influencer
an
for the brand,
influencer?
like, at
Yeah,
all,
so
like-
basically like this for those that don't know, not an influencer really comes from like my beliefs that we can be influential to those around us even if we're not an influencer. That's kind of like my elevator speech to people that like ask me about it for the first time, because I like really find value in like leaving a positive impact on people, whether you're an influencer or not. You know what I mean? If I met you for the first time, I'm hoping that you left that conversation and you like know me like you knew me for 10 years, or like
That's real.
if you have homies, like I always like, or all my homies, like they always have their things they want to pursue, and I'm always the one to like encourage them to do it, or like I'm just like always wanting to be influential, to put it in layman's terms.
So it's just always
That's
been
real.
a keyword.
It's
That's
always been a
big
keyword
real,
for
bro.
me, yeah. And so it's not an influencer, just influential has actually been in my Instagram bio for years. Years. I'm pretty sure it was when Kobe died is when I first thought about it. That was like, he was my favorite player growing up. If I remember correctly, that's when I first thought of it. But the whole phrase just kind of like, it just like really hit for me. Like I just like thought of it and I was like, this just holds so much value for me, because
Correct.
I hate.
Yeah.
I know I'm not an influencer, though people might think I am. I know I'm not even close to like what like the influencer standards might be. So like whenever people come up to me, even before the brand, people would come up to me like, yo, are you an influencer? And would always say, no, I'm not an influencer, but I'm just influential. Like
It's crazy hearing them say that, because
Yeah.
I cannot make this up. When I first started kicking it with these boys and they were wearing like, now I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, that shit hard, but like, what's behind that?
Yeah.
And he would say how you just said it, the same
not
way.
influential,
I'm not an
yeah.
influencer, I'm just
And I'm not,
influential.
like, to be honest with you, like I don't tell people to do that, you know what I mean? But I think
rolls off the
it just
tongue.
rolls
Yeah.
off the tongue.
It fits
and-
right though. It's a good
yeah,
fit.
yeah. And I feel like not an influencer by itself is just so open to interpretation that I think that's where like the true value in the brand comes. You know what I mean? Because
feel
like,
Absolutely.
that's your brand has seen like a lot of success because like it's open to talking points. Like you put on the shirt,
bro, it's the number one conversation.
Yeah,
starter you can wear.
conversation
real.
starter,
100%.
100%.
100%. You want somebody to come up to you, wear my shirt. Like
Exactly.
wherever you go,
People
somebody's
know
gonna come
that.
up to you.
Yeah,
Even
whenever
if they know me or not, and like I'm at a point now where like I don't even know who's ordering my shirts at this point. I don't know them personally. I don't know them. I don't know where they are. I don't know where they're wearing it. At first, when like I just had the hoodies, I only had like 200, 400 of them, so I could kind of like keep track of it. But
Yeah.
at this point, like there's thousands of my shirts
It's kind
out
of
there
like
in the wild.
nationwide at this
Yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah, when I
That's
first moved out
crazy.
here, I
100%.
seen non-influencer everywhere.
But
But
yeah,
like,
it hasn't even really tap tally yet.
that's crazy.
wait,
like-
what?
Because when I go to pods or
Yeah.
Cess, I
But-
catch
no,
5,
that's
10,
the
20
crazy
heads
The
part.
wearing it.
crazy part in it, in
Pretty
my
much-
eyes, it hasn't tap tally yet. Like
Yeah.
it really.
Pretty much the only people that wear not an influencer in Tally are like the influencers. Or
That or,
the-
like,
the
people that know me
DJs or
personally.
you.
Yeah,
Facts,
yeah.
okay.
But it's a good
Circle.
amount because, like I said, when I go out to pods, Or like even sometimes I'll be on stage with Zeus
Right.
when he's playing, and I'll just step aside and just scope the scenery out.
Right, right.
And I'll see not an influencer, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like
That's how it is with the domino effect for like Dro Vision.
Dro Vision, yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
And then, you know, I learned a lot when like Dro was coming up. You know what I mean? It's because like we were like just doing stuff and just like planting seeds and just like getting his brand name out there and getting his stuff out there. So now like a lot of the things that I do now were because of like what we had learned in his process. So like what we learned that did work and what we learned that didn't work. You know what I mean? Yeah. So now like those people that you do see, they probably connect us all together, which I'm super thankful for, because like I wouldn't be where I'm at if like Dro Vision never started. You know what I mean? And like now we just kind of like grow everything together and kind of like do everything together. So that way like wherever I go, he knows he's gonna come with, or wherever he goes, vice versa. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I asked him in the first episode like if y'all was like siblings or like
basically,
but like
yeah.
at first I thought y'all was like family, but y'all are technically.
Yeah,
that's real.
That's big real, bro. That's lit, man. No, it's honestly your brand has really impacted a lot of people in town. Believe it or not,
Influenced.
Same thing.
Hey,
and
it's only
outside
right.
of town.
You missed the target right
It's
there.
only
I'm
right.
not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
Opportunity was there. It was there.
Yeah.
No, but like seriously, like it impacted a lot of people.
He
Like,
missed it again. He's good.
Two for two is crazy.
Two is crazy.
Crazy. Not gonna lie, gang.
all right, it influenced a lot of people. I'm so sorry. It influenced a lot of people. Like, it
Especially
really did.
like all the artists. And
Yeah.
creators
Yeah,
out
artists.
here.
Speaking
Cause-
of,
Very true.
yes, like Cash Cobain, bro.
Yeah.
That one I was really shocked.
Bro, that one. That's the moment that like. Sorry, I'll tell you the story about that. So, we were at Got Soul in New York. This was the first opportunity we ever had to go to New York.
Okay.
Right? They had reached out to me, and they were like, "Hey, we're going to New York. We would love to have you there. Here's a package for you specifically. If you can make it, we'd love to have you there." Boom. This is Got Soul, which has like millions of followers on Instagram.
Yes.
They're like the second biggest sneaker exhibit and most eyes, if not biggest sneaker exhibit there is, right?
In New York, especially.
Yeah.
And so they were having a New York show. Yeah. And so Joe and I were just talking about it, and I was like, bro, like, I don't know if I can afford to go out there. Boom, boom, boom. Like, if we go, I don't know what we're going to do, blah, blah, blah. And then him and I just sat down. We were at the gym, actually, and he was like, bro, like, we just, like, started looking at flights, started looking at hotel rates, and he was like, you think you can make it happen? And I was like, bro, if you're down, I'm down. And at first, we were just like, fuck it, we're just going to thug it and just us go. And then our homie Morph that does all my screen printing decided he was going to come out with us, because I was like, bro, you've basically printed all these shirts for me, and like you basically changed my life. I'm going to take you to New York with me, you know what I mean? And then we had like one of my friends from Atlanta. She came and met us out there too.
Your brother too, right?
My brother, and he ended up not coming to this one because we
okay.
just couldn't make it work. But he came to Fashion Week when we went like 3 weeks
Fashion
after.
Week,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what
Which looked crazy.
Which is
I was
crazy.
keeping all
Fire.
your stories.
It was fire.
Yeah. So we went out to New York for Got Soul, and at first, the first day, I was kind of like, when we first started, I was really in my head. And so because I've been in sneakers my whole life, and I know right now the sneaker market is just dead. Like, it's at the lowest point it's ever been. There's no like real true resale value to anything. There's really no demand
Nothing
in
like
sneakers right
pre-COVID.
now. Yeah,
Resale
nothing
has
like
watered it
pre-COVID.
down.
Reselling just real watered it down. And I kind of felt that while I was at the event, because like nobody was buying shit. Mind you, I'm used to being in Atlanta where I'm taking 300 pieces and they're gone in a day. You know what I mean?
Damn.
And so I'm like, fuck, like I'm in New York, like, damn, this weekend, like in my head, I like put too many expectations on it, and like it was kind of slower at first. And then all these people started coming up to me, and like all these like celebrities and like influencers started coming up to me and like, they're like, bro, I don't know who you are, I don't know anything about your business, but I need your shirt. And I'm like, boom, okay, cool. So then it started to pick up. And then the next day, Ray and Cash Cobain were there.
Just gonna say that. Ray.
And so everybody's like, you know, glazing, just like,
Oh yeah.
bro, they're
Krispy
super-
Kreme.
bro, crispy, like. And I'm like, okay, cool. How can I scheme around the glaze, right? So I kid you not. Everybody's in a circle right here around Cash and Ray.
Ray, yeah.
So they're at the Got Soul merch booth, and they bring them in front of the merch booth, and I'm standing on the corner, like standing on top of a table essentially, because my homies work for Got Soul too. So they're like, bro, just stand right there. And I had my bag on me, and I kid you not, Cash looks at me, he's like, yo, what's that tee you got on? And I'm like, oh, it's my brand. He was like, let me get an XL. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I got you. Like, I got you. But in my head, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, everybody asks me for free clothes. Everybody. Especially if it's a celebrity, especially if it's an influencer, they always ask them for free clothes. So I'm like, fuck it, I took a chance. I was like, fuck it, I threw it at him. And I was like, here you go, son. He was like, I appreciate it. He threw it in his bag. He looked at it. He like, gave it a nod of approval. Threw it in his bag. And then I threw him a black one, too, to put it in the bag. Then that was the end of the interaction. Because, like, there's so many people around him, and they just, like... But, like, literally, he was at the Got Soul booth, and Got Soul was giving him 8 pieces of free merch to put in the bag. But he looked at mine, and he was like, I really fucked with it. He really fucked with it. And then we went out that night, whatever, boom, boom, boom. I wake up the next morning, Morph wakes me up, and he's like, or Dro wakes me up, and Dro never wakes up before I do. Never wakes up before I do.
Wait, whoa.
Bro, Dro never wakes up before I do.
It's a big moment.
Bro, I'm knocked out. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, why is Dro waking me up right now? He's like, yo, you need to check your phone. And I'm like, bro, why are you waking me up? Like, where's my phone? Like, I couldn't even find my phone at the second. And then he sent me Cash Cobain's story.
Whoa.
Dang.
And it was him
What
wearing...
did you feel in that moment?
Bro,
Like,
I literally felt like...
Like SpongeBob.
Like I
yeah.
can't even explain it, bro.
Yeah.
Like someone of that magnitude,
Yeah.
just like freely wearing.
And well known. You said he was in New York, right?
It was in New
Yeah,
York.
and he's well
So
known.
he
Yeah,
was. So
very
it
well
was
known.
actually in Toronto. But he's like the king of New York right now.
Yeah.
You know, like
Facts.
whoever says he's not, like that's your own opinion. But right now he's got New York on lock.
By the neck.
After
He's got
that-
New York by the neck.
after that happened that night, because it went on his Instagram and
It went on his
everything.
story, bro. Like, and
With
I-
Did you
Ice
see the
Spice.
day after? Because you were still in New York. Did you see like a lot more people wanted to get it?
so
just off of that?
like based off. So I didn't even have the shirt on my website at that point. Like the New York one on
You
my
just
website.
had it at the.
I just had it at the event because like the way I kind of operate with the business is I like to drop something new every time I go to these places, right? You know what I mean? So like first time I went to New York, I dropped a white with navy New York tee. Second time I went to New York for Fashion Week, I dropped a black one. But I didn't have them like I dropped them like as I'm going to these events, you know? I'm going to Atlanta next month. I got something coming for Atlanta, you know? Like I try to be very strategic with it. But when I posted the video of him at Ice Spice, bro, in seconds, the video was going viral. Like, it's at, like, 80,000 views at this point.
Sheesh,
Like,
sheesh,
like,
bro.
and, like, I've had viral videos, but that one was really the one that just, like, went
Inspired
insane.
you, right?
I mean, it's the one that really changed my life, for real. Like,
Dang, man.
like literally, the New York shirt, the New York shirt literally changed my life. No cap.
Yeah.
Because once that was on the market, bro, that's the white with navy has been my best seller by far. I don't think
Really?
I'll ever not sell it 100%.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
That just shows one person can make such a
Bro,
big
it can
impact
change
on
it. Bro,
someone's
it
life.
literally, and I tell people this all the time. Like, I tell people it's like, whether it's one person, or it's one post, or it's one interaction, or it's one comment, one like whatever it is, you don't know, but like, it could be a life-changing.
Yeah, the turning point.
That could be the turning point, you know, of like whatever you're doing. So I always tell people like, bro, like when they ask me questions on like how to start or like what to do or like whatever it is, I always say like, just keep going because that next video you post might be the one that's
Keep
like,
going, give it 1,000%.
just give it 1,000
Every time.
or just like get better every, like I tell people like get like 1% better every day. And you know, whether it's like what you're pursuing or like on yourself or like whatever it is, I just try to like do that myself too, because like you never know like what your turning point is gonna be.
Dude, that's inspiring
Yeah.
because that's the same way I tell these boys too. Like, we gotta keep posting.
Have
Keep
to
posting
feel me?
always,
Have to.
always.
Like-
If I'm not on, like Zeus is on my, like, he's always on my cases on David's case.
Yeah.
Just keep posting.
And even me, bro,
Yeah.
like I'm like I haven't posted in maybe like a week or so,
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean like I'm not like my brain's not working or like it doesn't mean like
Yeah.
I don't have like a bag of content that's just like waiting to get posted. You know, it's just like right now I'm just kind of like keeping it low key because, bro, I had like 300 orders that I had to fulfill within the last month and a half that like I literally couldn't keep up with, and I'm blessed to say that I'm like in that position, but I'm also one that like wants to fulfill every single
Because
order.
you're still at the point where you just have your
'Cause
small team.
Correct.
You're
Yeah,
not,
yeah,
you're not
yeah.
going bigger.
Right. And I'm trying to scale right now and things. So like, it's been a process growing the business, but right now, I don't want to keep pushing content out when like people are still waiting for their orders. You know what I mean? Because like
True.
Yeah, because you're promoting it more and you can't even.
and I can't even
fulfill
feel
all
it right
the-
now. So I'm like, until next week, like next week I'll definitely start ramping it back up again. But for right now, like I'm just kind of like at a not a standstill, but I'm like standing still.
Just trying to
Speaking
catch up.
of
Keeping like exactly.
scaling, like when you are to scale your business, how do you think you'll go about that? And like where do you want to put yourself in about like a couple years?
So I can't talk for a couple years, but I can talk for like the next couple months.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I just don't know what's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like I can
honestly.
say, and I really don't like to like. I like goals, but I don't like to set expectations.
Yeah,
Because like if it doesn't happen,
Bars.
I
That's an
feel like-
influential quote.
Yeah, but I just like I'm always in the mindset that like if I set an expectation, then like if it doesn't happen, I'm always gonna be disappointed, and I hate that feeling. Or like I hate putting that pressure on somebody else, and then like they're disappointed because of like they feel like they didn't reach that or whatever it is. But I can say within the next couple months, my goal is to have like hundreds of shirts in production a week. So like I found a new production facility down in Tampa, and obviously like here in Tallahassee, Morph, who runs Choppa Gang, his brand, he's done all my printing here since I started t-shirts.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and so he still does my printing, but there's only so much that he can do
Correct.
when it comes to like scaling, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
he's
'cause
still doing everything by hand, which I'm super thankful for, and I could not have been here without him. But I also need hundreds of shirts done every single week at this point. And like for the months
That's
to
a lot.
come, I would hope that it's thousands that need to be produced. Like in November and December for like Black Friday, I have 2 huge pop-ups in November that I'm planning. I have a pop-up in December that I'm planning, and I can give you guys these locations. Like I'm gonna be in Atlanta. In November I'm gonna be in Atlanta. In November I'm most likely, don't tell anybody, gonna be in Vegas.
Whoa.
In December,
That's gonna be crazy.
don't tell
Vegas
no-
is lit.
Yeah.
I mean, this is gonna be on air.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, but
This is getting posted.
This is getting
Yeah,
posted.
I know, I know.
He's like, ah,
Don't tell
okay,
nobody.
don't tell nobody.
Everyone watching.
Where's he gonna be next?
We know where he at now.
That's crazy.
No,
Las
Vegas is crazy. You're
Yeah,
finally
Vegas is
getting into
crazy.
that
That's
Western
actually really
market.
Yeah. So, and then in Miami, I'm gonna be at Art Basel, 100%.
Whoa,
Art
Art
Basel
Basel has to.
It has to happen.
Whoa,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah,
you
it
have
has to
to.
happen.
That's
Motion.
Yeah, Art Basel.
big motion, bro.
Yeah. So, and I'm at a point now where like I said, like Morph can still be printing, but I need somebody else printing too. And so like I found another production facility down in Tampa that I had like a super close connection to. And they found out what I was doing, and they just basically called me and told me to come in.
Correct.
And they were like, you need hundreds done a day or you need thousands done a week, like
So,
just leave them here and we'll take care of it for you. And I
question.
was
So,
just
like,
yeah.
big shout out to your family, like supporting
Yeah,
your
for
brand,
sure,
and I
yeah,
saw
yeah.
them like helping you like pack up the
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
it's
for
real.
sure,
Are
yeah.
they like you know?
So my brother helps me like every day, like when it comes to like the analytical stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then my mom, so like I said, I've been down in Tampa for the last couple of weeks. And so I knew like I couldn't be down there and not fulfilling orders. So I brought like all my stuff down with me. And then as the shirts got done in production in Tampa, my mom was like, okay, cool. Like I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I can't pack all these up by myself and like get them out. Like, cause there's hundreds of shirts just laying around, you know what I mean? And so my mom's like, okay, cool. Like she took off from work and she was like, we got today and tomorrow to do all this. So like she literally like put gloves on and she was like quality controlling, holding up all the shirts, quality control, and see if like there were spots on them of like ink spots. She was like making sure the tags were right and just like going like above and beyond.
W moms.
Yeah, W moms.
Yeah, big W, mom.
Big
Bro, what?
Yeah, W moms. Cause like she knows like I've always been an entrepreneur and she knows I've always been doing like what I do, but like I kind of wanted to like for her to see firsthand and experience firsthand like, Mom, I'm fucking stressed to my neck with 200 orders right now, and I am so overwhelmed that like I can't really like quality control and pack and fold and print all the labels. It just like was way too much. So like she was like, I was like, if you could just fold them and quality control them, that'll take away half the task, and then like I can do the rest. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
That's great.
yeah, she definitely helped.
Dang.
but-
So it's really like a lot of labor. Oh my god.
Oh, bro, it's a lot of labor.
Damn,
100%.
wow.
Would you say, like, for someone looking to get into, like, starting their own clothing brand, is that a part that you want them to know that?
I mean, bro, like, there's so
People
much that goes into it, like that, like, people just don't understand. Like, you guys got the packs, right? Like, you got the shirts
Correct.
folded
Which
up.
we're thankful.
Very
Right?
thankful.
Very thankful.
And in the plastics, right? And like
Yeah.
with the like sticker and like with the label and everything, but like we fold those by hand, and I put those in the plastic by hand, and like I pack those orders by hand.
Try doing the
You know what I
300,
mean?
400 times.
Yeah, and so like you know,
Sheesh.
moving forward, I do have like a fulfillment center like lined up for me and things like that. But everything that I make is made, or all the shirts are made in U.S. So I'm not able to like have them already in a poly mailer, right? Like for in U.S. You know, like a lot of people manufacture overseas and they get it already done in the poly mailer. Which like if you've shopped with the other small brands, that's a lot of times they already have that. And so, but I'm also like in the beginning stages of my brand, you know.
Yeah, which is totally crazy.
Yeah.
By the way, which is
You're doing
honestly
crazy good.
crazy
Yeah,
good,
thank you,
bro.
man.
Like big shout out
Appreciate
to you, bro. That's lit.
What's the
Like,
longest amount of hours you've been locked in as far as like working on the shirts and pushing stuff out, folding it up?
I mean, bro, like my brothers tell me like I don't sleep, so like
I believe it.
yeah,
Yeah.
So like
That's what it takes.
yeah, it is
Yeah.
what it takes, bro. Like that day I was with my mom, I think I was locked in from like I think we started right after breakfast, like at 12, and then we definitely went till like midnight, and so like a 12-hour day, and then she had left, and then I couldn't sleep because that's right when we heard about the news for the hurricane. So I'm like my brain is just like
It's just all over.
it's
the
all
place.
over the place. And so then like I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna stay up and fold tees and fulfill orders. Fuck it, you know.
Yeah.
So I stayed up to like at least 3:30, 4.
dang.
So it's at least a 12-hour, 14-hour day, just like locked in.
The
you know what I
playlist
mean?
you put on Spotify.
Must be treacherous.
Oh, bro.
The playlist you put on
thank you,
Spotify,
bro.
they were-
Shout out to God Bless Jai. That's my.
I'm gonna
Oh,
put it in the
yeah.
description of this
Yeah.
video.
Yeah,
If
bro,
you guys
thank
haven't checked it out, check it out.
Please do.
Appreciate you.
Facts.
Yeah,
There's a Spotify playlist for every occasion.
yeah,
Big
facts.
facts.
Yeah.
I tried to meet your boy Jai. His name is Jay or Jai?
Jai.
Jai.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, because I work at Potts now, and he used to
Yeah.
work at
Yeah,
Potts,
yeah,
I
yeah.
believe. And I would only see him like with smiles.
Yeah, exactly.
So like that's pretty cool that he made you a playlist.
Yeah, bro. Like Jai's like one of my best friends. Like,
Really?
Yeah, we talk
Oh.
every day, every single day.
Like you guys like grew up together or like?
No, I mean like we met out here in Tally.
Oh,
And,
facts.
like,
Okay,
we've just
okay,
been
okay.
boys,
Good connection.
you know, and like he's in Miami now,
Yeah, I saw him.
and like he's DJing in Miami now. But like he's just like one of those guys that like if he's your boy for life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you know, I've always wanted to include him in what I'm doing, but I like always wanted to give him like full creative direction. And so like for my brand, I really see my brand like being more than just clothes. Like I really just wanted to be like a lifestyle, you know what I mean? So like
Yeah. No, you
Ooh,
could.
he's
yeah,
talking
that's kind of
nice.
like
Yeah,
that's
big
kind of like
nice.
that was like my first step
What
into
kind of
getting in
things
that
do you have in
world.
mind when you were talking?
I mean, bro, like I feel like I can put I feel like I could put not an influencer on anything and it goes. But two,
like kind of like in a Supreme aspect.
yeah,
you
exactly,
know?
exactly.
Okay.
I
Like,
seen you put it
Alright.
on Tim's
Yeah,
the other
put it
day.
on
the Tim's,
That
you know
was
what I
tough.
mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we got to
yeah.
get that in the frame.
Yeah.
I don't know if
He
you
got
can
that
get that
shit
on
on.
the frame, but
Yeah, here, I'll take them off here.
Hey, he got that,
that
shit
shit
on.
is crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
On the
work.
yuttas, bro.
On the yeah.
I could see
Like,
that.
that's
Just
crazy.
don't be
Yeah.
putting shit on like toasters
yeah.
Or bats.
or bats or
Like
Nah,
a
nah.
wrench, like on some Supreme
Nah,
shit.
nah. But
or
like
a brick. Hold
A
on,
brick would be
You'd
hard.
be surprised who buys it, bro.
But yeah,
Supreme, bro. They used to do all the time. Bro.
People just like what I've learned in like this market and just like analyzing like consumer behaviors, bro. If they ride for a brand or they
They'll
ride
buy
for a
anything.
lifestyle, they're gonna buy anything. bro.
Facts.
Like, they're gonna buy whatever it is they feel like.
Shit, I'll buy a brick.
Literally, bro. Like if I put
That
it,
came out
Pause.
wrong.
if I put it on an ashtray, like
I'm not an influencer brick, right?
hey, bro. If I put it on an ashtray, somebody's gonna buy it.
Yeah.
If I put it on a lighter, somebody's gonna buy it.
That's lit.
That's
man.
real.
I can put it on if I put it on underwear, somebody's gonna buy it. Like if I put on a hat, somebody's gonna buy it. Like it's just really like one of those things, and I'm blessed to be in the position I'm in. But long term, I really want it to be a lifestyle. Like I want people to know, like, oh, they get their style because they definitely shop but not an influencer, or oh, their aesthetic is definitely like they definitely pull from not an influencer. And I've already seen people like, literally, I've already seen brands copy everything I do.
Really?
But that's good in a sense. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Yeah, for
influencing,
sure. It's
yeah.
good. But I'm also watching everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, on one side of me is like, I fucking hate them. for thinking that they're slick,
But they can't get your flavor.
but they
Yeah.
can't get my swag. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
You
Like,
already
they can't do
like,
it the
put
way
yourself,
I do it.
you already staked yourself down in the ground.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
yeah,
right
yeah,
there.
yeah. So,
Yeah,
Like,
it's
at that point, if people are just trying to copy you, it's like,
yeah.
That's
That's
kind of the
absolutely
same
right.
way, bro, with me in the DJ world, bro.
Yeah.
Like, so like I'm Latin, you know, but I do multi-format.
Right, right.
But people like wants to hop on the Latin scene, and they want to get like me, and I'm like, bro, you just gotta grind,
Right,
And
you
like
have to.
it honestly,
Yeah.
bro, like I can guide you, but like I can't necessarily give you my
I
flavor.
can't tell you,
Yeah,
bro. Like, and I
so-
tell people all the time, like, the question you had about, like, starting a brand. I tell people, like, I'm very much so in a different position than most when I walked in, because I would say, like, I'm at least 5 years ahead because of, like, my retail experience. I ran a website before for Picked and other companies. Like, my own company, I ran a website. I helped Dro, like, build his website. I figured out how to manage inventory. Like, I figured out how to, like, manage crowds and like all this stuff that, like, people don't talk about when it comes to, like, owning a brand. You know, like, I figured out what looks good on clothing. I figured out what people want to wear, what people don't like how people like to, like, for clothes for them to fit them, like all these different things that I learned that I didn't even know I was learning before the brand even started. You know what I mean?
Facts.
And so now I'm just like on a constant pursuit of like making it more than just clothes and just like truly just like a lifestyle. And like that's where like the playlist came into play, because I was just like chopping it up with Jai one day and I was like, bro, like I have this crazy idea, but like could you make a playlist for like every occasion or every spot that I visited?
Damn.
Oh, that's fire.
And so like
That influenced
we
me.
have a New York one, we have an Atlanta one on the way,
Yeah.
we have a Miami one that's on the way, we have like an Essentials one that just like kind of has a little bit of everything, and then like the Stormy one, which is like my favorite one.
it was perfect. I
The
was
Stormy
Good
smoking.
vibes.
I was on my
vibes, yeah.
porch smoking a cigar, listening to the Stormy playlist, and I
Yes.
was like, "Bro, this is perfect."
The Stormy is just like just on some chill, like
Yeah.
But I experienced those hurricanes firsthand, you know, so like having that and just like being able to express yourself in different ways that like people don't really think about like on a daily basis, you know, like unless you're like a music artist or a music connoisseur, you put together playlists all the time. But there's only really one brand that I know that's out there that kind of does the same thing, and I really took inspiration from them because I was like,
Who?
Every Other Thursday. It's like a really niche brand that most people probably don't even think about.
Yeah, I
but
don't even know that,
I'm
yeah.
so
I'm gonna
like
look it
deep
up
dive,
after
like I
this.
deep
Yeah.
dive so much into this that they're like some. And the guy's name is Ethan. He lives in New York, or he lives in LA now, I think. But his brand is literally just Every Other Thursday, and it's literally, I think it's just like a lifestyle that people like. They like love like what he does, and like they love watching his vlogs, and they love like seeing his like journey and making this brand, and they just like latch themselves on to like Every Other Thursday.
That's so lit.
And
Yeah.
that's the goal as far as what you want to do with non.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, just like a lifestyle brand, you know, and like just kind of seeing where it goes. And I mean, at this point, I don't think that there's really a limit.
The sky's the limit,
sky's the
bro.
limit for sure. Yeah.
So anyone watching this right now wanting to start a brand, like what's some advice you can give them, like super quick that you know will stick?
I think the biggest advice I got when I was first starting was just to start, and then just kind of like roll with the punches. And
Facts, man.
yeah, you just kind of have to start. And like I was at a point where like I just didn't know what I was gonna do, and this was like when I stopped working at the store back in November. I didn't know what I was gonna do moving forward. And then my brother and Dro, they were just like, yo, like you kind of have like something that's like sitting right there in front of you that you probably don't even know, but like they really told me that like I was built for this life, and I believe it now. After like what is it? What are we in now? It's in October.
Yeah, October. Yeah.
Almost a full year.
Yeah. So like I mean I had my first drop in February,
Yeah, which is crazy.
which is crazy. And
As far as you come in that short amount of time, it's just kind of like.
and I run the
it
brand
was
full
my thing.
time. Like the
Yeah.
brand's really my only source of income. So I really had to like take a leap, and just
Leap of
like
faith.
it's a leap of faith.
Well,
You know what I mean? And so at this point now, like if I'm gonna give anybody some advice, it's like you know just never know where it's gonna go unless you start. Because bro, I wouldn't have known that I was gonna be here like a year ago. Like, I wouldn't have known I was gonna have thousands of shirts out there in the wild 6 months ago.
But you wouldn't have known until you did it.
But
right?
I wouldn't have known unless I did it.
That's true.
And then, like, I wouldn't have known that I was gonna go to Fashion Week. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Like, I wouldn't have known that, like, I was gonna go to not only go to Fashion Week, but every fucking person in New York was gonna ask for my TWOWs at Fashion Week.
Dang, man.
Like,
Damn, you're like 25% of the population in New York has their T-shirt now.
like,
It's
No,
crazy.
like, no, bro. Every day I get an orders from New York. No cap.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy.
That's good,
Like,
bro.
I went
And I
out there-
always see that you post on your Instagram. It's just like a bunch of people.
Bro, everybody. Yeah, and that's not even, that's just people that have tagged the brand. Like,
Yeah,
God knows how many people actually have it and they're wearing it.
that's probably the best feeling.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
And,
just
like, the
knowing
best
that
feeling
all
for
those
me
people-
is just, like, knowing that, like, okay, like, for example, for Fashion Week, think about it. You're going to Fashion Week, so you got your fits planned out months in advance,
Yeah.
you know? But these cats are getting the tee from me and wearing it the next day. I'm like,
Yeah, that
you know, like, there's really
Especially
no
on
feeling that
Fashion Week.
yeah, exactly. So
people like put on your shirt and they feel
Exactly,
like, confident and good.
exactly. So, excuse me, from there, I just kind of knew, like, if my shirt can, if my brand can exist in New York during Fashion Week,
They could do.
it can exist anywhere.
Facts. Dang, that's tough, man.
Yeah,
Yep.
so that's kind of like where I'm at now. Like, there's really nothing that I see in front of me that I really can't, like, conquer or pursue, because, like, I've already touched the Mecca. Like, I've already
Yeah.
felt what the Mecca feels like.
Now you want to know how far you can go past the Mecca.
Right.
Oh my god, that's fire.
Yeah, we're super excited to see
Yeah.
where it goes now.
Yeah,
honestly.
so-
Honestly, I could
We've
be
been
wrong.
here
Was
every
it
step of the
Wisdom
way.
that you ran into?
Yes, bro, I ran into Wisdom.
How
Which
was
is-
that? Because I'm a big follower of
Yeah,
Wisdom.
so
He put that
Wisdom,
shit
yeah,
on.
so, like, Wisdom is another one that's like a niche. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, a lot of people know him, but, like, if you follow him, you know,
He be
you
putting
know.
that shit
Like,
on.
you know, he got
Yeah,
that
you
shit
know,
on.
bro. So, like, a crazy story. We ran into this homie named Josh, and he actually works for Crocs and Hey Dude.
Oh.
So Crocs and Hey Dude had a pop up with SpongeBob in New York for Fashion Week. So he told us to pop out.
Huh.
So they had one influencer that they sponsored, and it was Wisdom. And so I was like, okay, cool. Like, he's gonna be here, boom, boom, boom. And, like, at this point, bro, like, I've interacted with everybody in New York, so I know how to come up to people, and I know how to come up to people, anyways, because of, like, my history and stuff. And so, but my shirt really caught his eye and his manager's eye when they were walking out of the venue. And so, his manager, like, gave me, like, a nod of approval and, like, looked at my shirt and was like, oh, cool shirt. And then Wisdom was walking behind her, and I was like, yo, Wisdom, like, can we talk? Can we chop it up with you real quick? And Joe and I were together.
He was cool, right?
He's cool, yeah. He's
okay,
super
cool,
cool. He's super cool.
dude.
And so, Joe had showed him, like, his sample of new frames that he's coming out with.
Bro, I'm excited for the new frames. Bro.
And yeah, and so he, like, loved those, and then he, like, looked at my shirt, and, like, his manager had already asked me for one of my shirts. And then we had that whole conversation that you seen on video, and I was just like, yeah, like, he was like, oh, not an influencer. Well, neither am I. And I was like, that was like a stamp of approval from, like, the, you know what I mean?
We're
Like,
locked in now.
I'm locked in now. Like, whether he knows me or not, moving forward, if he ever sees my shirt again, he's gonna know what my shirt is, you
Yeah.
know? And so from there, it was just like, and he, like, asked me for one, and I gave him one, and I gave his manager one. So, like,
That's the
and
That's
that
crazy.
huge
That's
closet of stuff that he has.
That's the fashion final boss, bro.
Literally.
Bro has,
bro.
like, he's like the final boss battle of inventory.
Literally,
Yep.
bro. Literally. So that was, like, another one of those moments where I was like, damn, in that fucking closet that he has full of stuff, somewhere in there
It's
lies my
influencer
shirt.
shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fire.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool to think of,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, it's crazy. So
Nah, that's really awesome, man.
yeah.
It's really, really, really awesome to have you here because
Yeah.
it got us very influential.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're very influenced by
Yeah.
your words and
I'm
your
glad,
brand
I'm glad.
and everything about you and Dro
Yeah.
and
Top
everything you
5.
guys have going on.
Hell yeah.
Like we couldn't.
I mean,
be
that's,
more
like, what we're
happy
trying to
for you
do
guys.
now, you know what I mean? Like, we've kind of, like, we're kind of at a point now where, like, we just kind of want to continue, like, planting the seeds and just, like, almost being, like, someone that you guys can kind of look up to. You know what
Facts.
I mean?
Yeah.
Honestly,
Because
you guys are a big factor of why we started the podcast.
I'm glad.
To be
bro,
real,
like,
to be real.
To be
I'm
100%
glad,
honest, like you guys and like just all the other brand owners
Yeah.
in Tallahassee, it's like, man, I want to do that.
facts,
you know?
bro.
Like, you can't talk about fashion or anything like that without saying Dro or not an influencer.
Yeah.
And we want to be the same for podcasts as far as media in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
That's what we want to be.
And I'm gonna encourage you guys to just like continue doing it. You know what I mean? Like I said earlier, like I saw you guys when you first started, you know, and like I don't think people understand like how hard it is to make that first post. Like that first post is really that one where it's like, are they gonna get it? Like, are they gonna understand? Like, are they gonna follow? Are they gonna like it? Are they gonna comment? Like, how are people gonna react to it? You know, like I remember when I first started posting about my brand. This was like I was like teasing it back in January, and it was just like subtle teases. You know, like nobody really knew what I had going on, but I was still like hinting at it like throughout my timeline.
Facts.
And then I posted a video. It was like something about like when you order your first sample or something like that. And like from that point on, people were just like, what is he doing?
Was it the hoodie?
So the hoodie was my first thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
the hoodie was my first like actual item. But I don't think people understood. Like I think people understood that like I was pursuing something.
Mm-hmm.
So like I have like a lot of people that already follow me now or like have followed me before the brand.
Correct.
That they knew like I was always kind of like an entrepreneur, like always was trying something new. So, but I've always been like wanting like help others pursue their passions, if that makes sense. So
That's lit, man.
I feel like a lot of time, like I feel like when I started it, a lot of people were like, damn, he's actually like doing his own thing now. Like this is kind of lit, like, you know. And so once I did it, like I said, that first post is really that one that could really change everything, you know what I mean? But it's the scariest post at the same time.
You gotta take the jump though.
Yeah, you gotta take the jump for sure.
But honestly, I know with your stuff, with our stuff, we're just like, it's so fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bro,
at
for
the
sure.
Same
Super
time,
fun.
it's a lot of work, but it's
Yeah.
just so fun. And
I tell people like,
once you get like good engagement, like we had a video on TikTok that got 100,000
yeah, that's sick.
like views,
Yeah.
and once you get that, you know,
Yeah, for sure.
traction, it's
Kinda wanna
addicting,
keep
bro.
going.
Yeah,
Just wanna
and
keep on
the only
going,
thing that I
going.
would say for y'all is like, so I went to, I don't know if, I know people knew I was like in and out of New York, but the third time I was there, in September, I was there with Gymshark.
Oh wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was there with Gymshark, and like some of my homies are like Gymshark athletes, so they like invited me to go with them to Gymshark New York, and so it's crazy because like they sold 27,000 tickets to this event,
Wow.
and people are coming up to these influencers and like coming up to like my homie Lath. He starts every one of his videos and he goes up to someone and he says, "Excuse me, boss." And people literally like you don't understand it until you see it in right in front of you. But they came up to him like, "Yo, excuse me, boss." But like people are really like seeing everything that you do, and like it's almost like what I'm trying to say is like finding your niche.
Okay.
Your hook.
Definitely.
Your hook or your like
Yeah,
your niche, and you know whatever it is. So for you guys, whatever that is, I feel like once you find it, you'll know, and then God willing, if this does blow up, you guys are in these spaces, they're gonna know you for that niche.
Yep.
That's the goal, man.
That's the
Yeah.
goal. Like people know me for not an influencer, and it's like I haven't just been like, oh, I'm Matthew from Not an Influencer. Like I don't say that in every video, but everybody knows me from like the brand, and that's like my niche, you know.
That's
And-
lit, man.
Yeah, so it's like if I would tell you guys to do anything, just like figure out what that is.
I feel like
Whether
us-
it's your lane that you stay in, or like whether it's a hook that you find, or like what you know, like I already know you have like the Cooked podcast, and if you whatever you want to run with that, just run with it and see what happens, because at some point it's gonna catch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's catching.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
catching
sure.
in the
Yeah,
cities.
It's
Right.
getting
sure you already
a little
see
bit
it.
of
A little bit,
traction.
a little bit. So we really appreciate
When we
that.
go out, you know,
Just hang out.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I really appreciate you for coming out here, man.
for sure.
Yeah, we appreciate
Really
you,
great.
Facts.
Hell yeah.
It's a pleasure
Thank you
to
for
meet you.
tuning in to the Cooked Official Podcast with your host, DJ Zeus,
Dibble.
Lindo next door.
and my boy,
Matthew Hall.
Not
been a pleasure,
Influencer.
Thanks
bro.
for having
Stay
us.
cooked.
Stay cooked, gang.
Stay cooked.